The Border Zone 1494 2AY. It is that time again when we catch up with Wodonga TAFE, and this time round, Jenni Myers is with us. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me in again.
Now, Jenni, last time you were in a fortnight ago, we only touched very briefly on what Wodonga TAFE does for people with disabilities, but that's your forte. You know,
Yes.
all the programs back to front, so we're going to talk a bit more about that today.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes.
Okay, so what does Wodonga TAFE offer people with disabilities?
Well, I guess I firstly want to say Wodonga TAFE is a TAFE for everybody. So it doesn't matter if you have a disability, you can access any course at Wodonga TAFE. So depending on what your interests are, whether that be from cabinet making to nursing, whatever it may be, that if you have a disability, you can still access Wodonga TAFE if that is a goal of yours. We have our learner services team within that team, we have a disability liaison officer who, if you require any additional assistance, whether that's in class or modifications, we can actually set that in place with the disability liaison officer. So if you have a goal of, you know, one of the vocational areas at Wodonga TAFE, we can certainly work with you to achieve that goal. That may require you to start with some of the foundation courses that we have, you know, whether that's a VCAL or a Certificate in General Education or our English as a Second Language program or some of our disability programs. We can work towards you achieving those goals in those vocational areas.
And you have a couple of specific programs, the work education and the transition education. What are they?
So they're the programs that I teach within. So Certificate 1 in Transition is a program specifically for a person with an intellectual disability or has been in a supported program within a school. So it's often for students that actually come along, they've finished school or are in that sort of last couple of years of school or have left school but haven't had an opportunity within a TAFE environment. So the transition program works with the student that they come 3 days a week, they study areas in regards to improving their self-confidence, their role within community, technology, creative activities. They look at pathways, whether a pathway may be in education or whether that is in voluntary work, you know, community work. And within that program, we actually do a lot within our community and community programs. And we also, you know, look at what is it that they want to do. But the transition gives a person that time to feel what it's like to be at a TAFE, because it is very different to being at a school when you're way more independent. So that we often say our transition program is our first step for a person with an intellectual disability to come along to TAFE, and it's a full year program. And once they complete that, if they choose that they want to continue at TAFE, that may be in a vocational area, or it may be in our next pathway, which is our Certificate 1 in Work Education, where students really focus on developing their skills around work, and within that year they actually do work experience over a 6-month period. So we work really closely with lots of businesses around Albury Wodonga, and so those students sort of gain those skills that it is to be a worker, and it may be an area of interest that they might want to further pursue in study.
A lot of different options, which is terrific, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Let's take a look at the role Wodonga TAFE in regard to the NDIS being launched in the region. I know it's a big sort of issue, I guess, but can you explain that a bit for us?
Yeah, I guess education and certainly TAFEs have a place within the NDIS because it's a huge change to how funding is there for people with disabilities. And, you know, we're providing, as I said, all of our programs are for any person with a disability. I certainly work in those specialised programs. And so, you know, if people have those within their plans or organisations want to talk to TAFE about how they can support their staff, whether they need further training, or it's now that people are really looking at their goals and, you know, their aspirations to further study or employment or starting their own business, that, you know, we really want to talk to students, families, carers, services about how we can support them within the NDIS. So, certainly with the program, the Certificate 1 in Transition and Certificate 1 in Work Education, that they are life skills programs. So they are really well supported within the NDIS. So because that's sort of an aim of NDIS. So, we have students at the moment that are doing that work experience in work education. We've got students at, organisations such as Target. We've had Bunnings before. We've got one out at a horse trainer out here at the Albury Racecourse. They're working towards that employment, and NDIS will assist them sort of down the track whether, that's where they want to go. So for training, we certainly are hoping that we can be a big part of working alongside people with a disability in reaching their goals.
Fantastic.
And of course, if you've got any questions, just as simple as contacting Wodonga TAFE.
Absolutely.
And we can do that. We can drop in and see you guys, or we can jump online.
We can. And I think that's, the beauty of TAFE, people, it is a great space at Wodonga TAFE. If people haven't visited there, come out and have a look and walk around the grounds there. It's not only a great place to study and work at, but, it's a great place to just, within our community. We're lucky in Albury Wodonga to have the TAFEs that we have, and they're both in great places. But, if anyone just wants to visit and we can show people around, I'm always happy. We work with the local schools. They always, in their pathway plans, will come and do visits and have days with us at Wodonga TAFE. And it's really good for experiencing all the different areas we have at Wodonga TAFE, that particularly our program in the Work Ed and Transition, we work alongside all of our really skilled vocational teachers. Our students get to experience being in our hospitality, being in horticulture, being maybe going out to our motorsports area. So, but if other people want to come and have a look at, what our students love about being at Wodonga TAFE, feel free to come and do that, and I'm always, willing to show people around because we do that as part of our role.
Fantastic. From Wodonga TAFE, Jenni Myers, we could talk about this all day, I reckon.
We could. I could talk about it all the time.
But it's been great having a chat with you again and getting some more clarification about what you do and the options that are open. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Oh, thanks, Sandra. Thanks, Kev.